quorum being present, I call this meeting to order. First item on the agenda is to continue to the August 16th, 2023 Conservation Commission public hearing notice intent, Civil Design Consultants, Inc. of Andover, Massachusetts, on behalf of Von Cormier, Vale Street, Assessors Map 112, lots 23, 87, 88, 89, 90, 91, 92, 93, 94. This is DEP file number 305-1154. Could I have a motion to continue that to August 16th?
I'll make that motion.
Could I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well.
Mr. Chairman, is there any minutes to approve tonight? Or no?
There, don't believe so.
Okay.
All right. Sorry about skipping the order. Second item on the agenda is B, request for certificate of compliance, Courtney Simmons of Davis, Malm, and D'Agostino, PC, Boston, Massachusetts, 100 to 200 Ames Pond Drive, Assessors Map 66, Lot 1, DP file number P-305-2. Is there anybody here for that? Could you please introduce yourself for the record?
Hi, Courtney Simmons from Davis, Malm, and D'Agostino, the applicant.
And what is it you would like to do today?
So there's 4 requests for certificate of compliance. The one that you referenced, DEP file number P-305-2, requesting a certificate of compliance. That's the first one. That is a certificate of compliance in relation to property located at 100 to 200 Ames Pond Drive. And I'm requesting this certificate because the land described applicable in the order of conditions is not work that was performed on the subject property.
All right. Any questions or comments from the commission?
I'm good.
Joe, do you have any questions or comments?
Yeah, I just wanted to mention that the applicant has provided a detailed title search with land court records that seem to indicate that the order of conditions didn't originally apply to the land representative of the current 100 to 200 Ames Pond Drive. It was an order of conditions that was left over from previous property transactions, it seems like. That being the case, if the commission seems fit, they could issue a partial certificate of compliance for the property.
All right. All right. Could I have a motion, to ratify the certificate, the partial certificate?
Just issue.
Issue.
Just be issued.
Yeah. To issue, could I have a motion to issue a certificate of compliance for DEP file number P-305-2?
I'll make the motion to issue a partial certificate of compliance.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. And for the next one, request for certificate of compliance, Courtney Simmons of Davis, Malm, and D'Agostino, PC, Boston, Massachusetts, 100 to 200 Ames Pond Drive, Assessors Map 66, Lot 1, DP file number 305-163. Could you please reintroduce yourself for the record?
Yeah, it's Courtney Simmons from Davis, Malm, and D'Agostino. I'm the applicant. And again, I'm seeking a request for a certificate of compliance with regard to 100 to 200 Ames Pond Road. Again, this order of conditions was carried over on the certificate of title for the property at 100 to 200 Ames Pond Drive, and it actually refers to land described as Lot 51-007, which is assessor's lots, which do not refer to the property at 100 to 200 Ames Pond Drive. And I also had submitted detailed application materials with land court records and assessor's records showing that that it does not refer to the subject property.
Any questions or comments from the commission?
No real comment, but you're more than welcome to sit down if you want.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
I'm used to being in court and I always stand, so.
This is conservation, not court. Joe, do you have any questions or comments?
The only comment I would have is beyond what the applicant just said is that the order seems to be applicable to work related to a dam within the pond adjacent to 100 to 200 Ames Pond Drive. So again, not on the subject property. The order says no certificate of compliance until dam is completed. This covers everything except landscaping, but again, that's not applicable to the subject property, so.
Could I have a motion to issue the partial certificate of compliance for DEP file number 305-163?
I'll make that motion.
Could I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Chair
Aye.
votes aye as well. All right, request for a certificate of compliance, Courtney Simmons of Davis, Wellman, D'Agostino, PC, Boston, Massachusetts, 100 to 200 Ames Pond Drive, Assessors Map 66, Lot 1, DEP file number 305291. Could you please introduce yourself for the record again?
Courtney Simmons, from Davis, Mom, and D'Agostino. I am the applicant. Again, I'm requesting a certificate of compliance with regards to 100 to 200 Ames Pond Drive.
Could you pull the microphone a little bit closer?
Sure.
Thank you.
This DEP file number 305-291 also references lot numbers 51-007, which are assessor's lots referring to the pond and I think previous land on the western side of the pond, which is not the subject property that I'm seeking the certificate for.
All right. Any questions or comments from the commission? Joe, do you have any questions or comments?
No comments.
All right, in that case, could I have a motion to issue the partial certificate of compliance for Courtney Simmons, DEP file number 305-291?
I'll make that motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. And finally, request for certificate of compliance, Courtney Simmons of Davis, Malm, and D'Agostino, PC, Boston, Massachusetts, 100 to 200 Ames Pond Drive, Assessors Map 66, Lot 1, DEP file number 305-335. Could you please introduce yourself for the last time, hopefully? No offense, but.
Courtney Simmons, Davis, Mom, and D'Agostino. I'm the applicant. I'm requesting a certificate of compliance for this DEP file number 305-335. This order of conditions does refer to the subject property at 100 Ames Pond Drive. In the order itself, it references a plan dated August 28th, 1988, and states that the work must conform to that plan, and the plan must be approved by the planning board. In records with the commission, a plan was uncovered in the files that actually does have a date of August 28th, 1988, and it has a stamp that says it was approved by the planning board, and it also has a certificate from a professional registered engineer, a stamp that says that the work that was done in compliance with the planning board's approval. And the plan itself depicts only a small accessory building on the lot. They refer to it as an appraiser's facility. And there's already two pre-existing buildings, existing parking, existing landscaping. All that the plan was depicting is the foundation of this new accessory building referred to as this appraiser's facility. And so I'm submitting that the stamp by the registered professional engineer saying that the foundation was built in compliance with that plan satisfies the commission to demonstrate that the work was performed within substantial compliance with the plan approved by the commission in the order.
All right, any questions or comments?
You know, Mr. Chairman, I have to tell you, I worked in all those buildings up there. Well, MetLife and stuff back a long time ago. In fact, they come back and did that appraisal building after. That was quite a place, really.
Any other, Joe, do you have any questions or comments?
No, I think the applicant painted the picture pretty well as far as, what information has been provided. So for a certificate of compliance that actually, or for a project that actually applies to a subject property where a certificate of compliance is being sought after, the engineer does have to provide a letter of substantial compliance. And the engineer did provide that simply by writing on the originally approved plan just saying that he certifies that the foundation installed is as located on the site plan as approved by the planning board, with his stamp. So as long as the commission sees that as fit, then the commission may issue a complete certificate of compliance.
In that case, could I have a motion to issue the certificate of compliance for DEP file number 305-335?
I'll make the motion.
Could I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, next up, public hearing, request for determination of applicability, Amit Shestra, 505 Chandler Street, Assessors Map 60, Lot 164. Could you please introduce yourself for the record?
My name is Amit Srestha, and I'm the property owner of 505 Chandler Street, Kingsbury, MA.
And what would you like to be doing today?
So I want to clean the vegetation till the 50 foot, till the 50 foot of till the vertical start of the wetland. So I want to clear all the vegetation.
Continue.
So I want to clean there are trees behind my backyard. So I want to clean till like 50 foot. Yep, 50 foot.
All right. Any questions or comments from the commission? Joe, would you like to make any comments? The commission is looking at this.
Is it just a removal of trees, or are you adding fill to that area?
No, I just want to remove the trees
Okay.
and make it a little bit like there are the bushes and thorny bushes. I want to clean all those,
Okay. So is your intent to expand your backyard, like establish that as grass?
Yes.
Okay.
Are you clearing vegetation to the yellow line drawn on the site plan provided? Is that your intent?
Yes.
Okay, so you're not going right to the 50-foot, you're going more to the 100-foot buffer, it looks like.
Yes.
Okay. If that's the case, if the commission were to issue a negative determination of applicability, they may just consider the following condition of no dumping of debris in a wetland area or within 25 feet of a wetland edge. I've also gone out to the site and confirmed the wetland boundary is accurate, so.
Are you comfortable with those conditions?
Yes.
All right, if there's no further questions from the commission, this is a public hearing. Anybody in the public is able to get up and make a comment if you would like to. Not seeing anybody, could I have a motion to close the public hearing?
I'll make that motion.
Could I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. And could I have a motion for, why am I blanking on?
Negative.
Negative, yes, that's what it is. Could I have a motion for a negative determination of applicability for Amit Shethra, 505 Chandler Street, Assessors Map 60, Lot 164?
I'll make that motion as discussed.
Could I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Agenda item G, public hearing, request for determination of applicability. Katie McSheehy, 61 Geiger Drive, Assessors Map 99, Lot 90. Could you please introduce yourself for the record?
Katie McSheehy.
And what is it you'd like to do today?
I work with the contractor, and for the homeowner, they want to tear down their existing deck and build a new one.
Any questions or comments from the commission?
I'll let Joe go first.
Okay. Sorry, hold on. Yeah. So the deck is proposed within the 100-year floodplain. I've also gone out to the site to see how far away it is from wetlands. It's at least greater than 25 feet away from nearby wetlands. So per the WPA, the commission, whenever there's a project proposed in the 100-year floodplain, when in the judgment of the issuing authority said loss of flood storage will cause an increase or will contribute incrementally to an increase in the horizontal extent and level of flood water during peak flows. So the commission kind of has a little bit of discretion as whether, if there's like a de minimis amount of displacement in the floodplain, to allow those alterations. But other than that, I don't have an issue with the project. I'll just note that the butter notification portion of the project wasn't satisfied, just because it was like a day short of the notification. But other than that, I don't have comments.
Joe, are the wetlands close? You said outside of 25 feet. I don't see anything drawn. I'm just curious. Is it pretty far away? Not even close to that 5 foot? All right.
It's, I think based off my notes, it's like at least 30.
Okay.
And so if it's greater than 25, decks are technically allowed to be built almost by right and by law.
Yeah, I just see the stairs that being added too. That's why I see there's additional stairs. I wasn't sure how close it was, if that
Yeah.
impacts it at all or not.
The stairs are being built out into the backyard, correct? Yeah. Like perpendicular to the rear of the home, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So-
All right, so because the abutter notifications hasn't been satisfied yet, are you okay if we continue this to the next?
Do I have to come back again for the next meeting, or we're good?
It's a pretty simple thing. I'm not gonna take a vote on that, on whether we would approve this or, right now. I personally don't see any reason why we would not approve it under what you've said so far, unless something crazy happens in the meantime. I
Okay.
think you're pretty safe.
When's that one, the 21st?
Yeah, 2 weeks. All right, so this is a public hearing. I will open it up to the public. I will not be closing the public hearing just yet. And you will have additional time at the next meeting if somebody would like to get up and say anything. Not seeing anybody doing that right now either. Could I have a motion to continue this request for determination of applicability to the next meeting?
I'll make that motion.
Could I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Thank you very much. Agenda item H, public hearing, request for determination of applicability, Deborah Stodick Hayes, 120 John Street, Assessors Map 58, Lot 154. Could you please introduce yourself for the record?
I'm Debbie Stodakos.
And what is it that you'd like to be doing today?
We just would like to replace the existing structure on the side of the house with the new deck.
All right. Any questions or comments from the commission? Or Joe, do you have any questions or comments?
So I did a site visit out to the property. The deck is about 30 to 40 feet away from a wetland edge. So I don't have any issues with the project. If the commission were to issue a negative determination of applicability, they may consider the following conditions. Installing and maintaining sediment controls, which shall include of a properly entrenched silt fence and/or staked straw wattles around the area of construction as to prevent the deposition of sediment from construction activities into nearby wetland resource areas. Sediment control shall remain in place until all areas of disturbed/loose soil and other erodible materials have been stabilized at the site. So basically, that's just a perimeter sediment control
Okay, so
around.
I'd have to have my contractor
Okay.
lay that down?
Yep.
Okay, I'll
And
relay
then
that.
my second note would just be reference being made to the plot plan and the building plan submitted for the building permit BP-23-534. So those are just the plans that were submitted with the building permit that I was referencing for the project.
All right. Any other questions from the commission?
Are you adding stairs back to this deck or just removing them altogether?
We're removing the entire structure there, and then the stairs, they're gonna go vertical with the house, so they're gonna face the front of the house. We're not going any closer to the wetland with the stairs.
Okay.
All right, this is a public hearing. If there's anybody from the public who would like to make a comment, now is the time to do so. Not seeing anybody. Could I have a motion to close the public hearing?
I'll make that motion.
Could I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. All right, and could I have a motion for a negative determination of applicability for Deborah Stodika's 120 John Street, Assessors Map 58, Lot 154, as discussed at this meeting?
I'll make that motion.
Could I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Agenda item I, public hearing, request for determination of applicability, Tracy Morrill, 7 Erlin Terrace, Assessors Map 47, Lot 34. Is there anybody here for that? Were we under the impression that that the applicant was going to be here, or?
I don't know.
All right. In that case, we can table this till the end and give them some time if they show up. If not, we can continue. All right. Agenda item J, public hearing, request for determination of applicability, Thomas Barry, 900 South Street, Assessors Map 98, Lot 230. Is there anybody here for that? Could you introduce yourself for the record?
Good evening. Thomas Barry, 900 South Street, Tewksbury.
And what would you like to be doing today?
I wanted to, extend from my existing driveway, another parking area, approximately 45 feet by 70 feet from the back of my house.
Any questions or comments from the commission? Give us a second. Joe, do you have any questions or comments?
So just as a summary, so it's an expansion of a driveway, 45 feet by 70 feet, I believe. So two different jurisdictional areas, one being the 100-year floodplain. So again, the same thing would apply where if this is viewed as like a de minimis amount or a temporary alteration, because it's I'm not sure you're really changing grade by converting the grass into an impervious surface. It's not really changing the 100-year floodplain elevation if it were to be in the 100-year floodplain. But again, that's up to the commission and their discretion of what is kind of a de minimis amount. In addition, the closest extent of the driveway expansion is about 7 feet away from the wetlands. So in order to permit the project how it's currently proposed, the applicant would require a waiver from the 25-foot setback, where there would need to be some sort of kind of demonstrated hardship as to why the project couldn't occur.
All right.
You know, it's approximately, it's like 15 by 16 feet would be inside that wetland area. If I measured what you measured, I wasn't there when you measured the other day.
Okay.
It'd be like one car space, you know. It wasn't the whole, like if you get the 70 by 45 would be like one car space right here, would be part of the wetlands.
That's 7 feet from the edge of the wetlands or from one of the?
Yeah, 7 feet from the edge of the wetlands is the closest
Yeah,
part.
I measured 10, but I don't like to say, I don't know what you did, but anyways.
Yeah.
That's neither here nor there.
Right.
But as like I say, it's like, would be like one car length on the far end.
Okay.
So I don't see any wetland, like, lines coming out. So like, I'm not exactly sure, like, I think I know where you're talking about, but I would like to see, we typically see the actual, lines depicting where the wetlands are, where the 25-foot no-build zone, 50-foot no-disturb zone, and 100-foot buffer zone. It sounds like if your project is that close, 10 feet away from the actual wetlands, it sounds like most of the actual dwelling is entirely within the, actually,
Oh, yeah, it's way back. The house is, it's gotta be another, if it's 70 feet, another 100 feet before the, like the house would be here, would be from the edge of where I'm putting the driveway, get another at least 100 feet for where the house is, and I have a little shed right here.
but if the edge of the proposed driveway is 10 feet away from the wetlands.
Okay, yeah.
Then the majority of the driveway is within the 25 and 50-foot zones. So,
I would think it would only be 15 feet if it's 7, give or take.
So,
You know what I'm saying?
I mean,
And then
so
just that one strip would be in the wetland.
just from like,
If that's what I'm understanding, I don't know.
yeah, so just from an objective perspective of the bylaw in this project, you would have to demonstrate some sort of hardship as to why you can encroach into the 25-foot no disturb zone setback in order to execute this project as it's currently proposed with those dimensions. Otherwise, you would have to change the dimensions of the driveway.
Well, what if I change the dimensions of the driveway to 45 by 55? That would bring it back to past the 25
Yeah, so,
feet you need.
yes, if you
to the
can,
punch.
What if I do that?
yeah,
that-
is
And I'll
if
just
you,
lose 1 or 2 spaces this way. That's all.
right.
if you're comfortable with that, then yeah, that
I think if we're
sounds-
getting that close, I would like the wetlands delineate, are they delineated right now, or is this kind of
No,
your judgment?
that was just me doing a site
I was
visit
gonna say,
to,
if we're gonna get that close to the 25-foot buffer, I would recommend getting those wetlands delineated before approving this project.
okay.
I'm with Evan there, because we're getting really close.
So what's that mean?
So the interpretation of that is getting someone to, so a wetland scientist to flag the wetlands and having a surveyor flag those wetlands relative to like the plot plan so that the wetlands are actually marked out on a surveyed plan?
Now, who pays for that? Me?
Correct,
Okay.
yeah. And then changing the dimensions of the driveway based off of that, so that it's a surveyed plan that certified by a surveyor that it's actually 25 feet away.
Okay.
And so, in addition, there's the abutter notification requirement as well, not satisfied for the project.
Well, that was 6. It was delivered on the 1st, and today's the 7th. That's 7 calendar days.
No,
Yeah,
a
I'm
week
saying-
before today would be
Would be the 1st.
May
That's
31st.
7 days. But
No.
that's not neither here nor there. Well, what if I just grass it and I'll just park on the grass? I'll just regrass it and just park on my grass. That's all I have to do. I'll save everybody a problem. Instead of having a hot top, I'll just park my car on the grass. Is that even easier?
I mean,
Because I don't know
it's grass
how much it's gonna
currently, right?
cost for a surveyor to come out and a scientist to come out. And when I first bought the house, they said there was no wetlands. And now all of a sudden, there's a 100-year plan. That's just because the FEMA doesn't want to spend all this
Yeah.
money. You know what I'm saying? I'll just put grass.
I mean, it's currently grass though, correct?
Yeah,
Okay, so are you suggesting not changing anything?
maybe I won't change it. I'll just park on the grass.
Okay,
Park somewhere, might as well, I just
that's you.
figured instead of digging up my grass, I'd put hot top down. But if I gotta jump through hoops, I'll just park on the grass.
I mean, I think the biggest risk you'd be taking is like, depending on what you park there, like, you can't, if you have a giant truck that's leaking oil, that's a potential problem
Yeah,
for,
yeah.
but, like, don't let that happen, and I
Exactly.
don't think anybody would, notice or really, have an issue with it, but yeah, you're free to, if you want to park on the grass and not do, not put pavement on, that's kind of the better solution for us, because we wouldn't be impacting the wetlands as much as we could be.
Right.
So do you want to make that decision right now? Because
Maybe I'll hold off on that, I gotta talk to my wife, and,
okay.
but where do you get a scientist or whatever you need and a,
I mean, there's a bunch of local environmental consultants or wetland consultants nearby.
a wetland consultant?
Yep.
Do we have we don't maintain a list of, we don't want to make recommendations, but.
Yeah, it's like
uh,
an archaic list.
Yeah, all right.
Just quick internet search is fine.
Is that also the scientist, or I gotta get a scientist too?
They're typically, sometimes they're both a surveying and a wetland scientist associated with the same company. Sometimes they're separate.
Okay.
Yeah, if you talk to one, they'll know what you're up to, and they'll give you the guidance.
Okay. All right, we'll see what she says. Otherwise, I just park on my grass.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
All right, so I guess for right now, we're going to continue this because of the mailing and the abutters notifications. And if you want to get a surveyor to go out, you'll be there. If they can do it before the next meeting, great. Hopefully everything's all set. Or you can, if you do choose to, just continue using it as it is, you can let us know and we'll take you off the agenda essentially.
Okay. And the other question is, do I have to, I can, if I'm gonna do it, I can let all the abutters know tomorrow, which is well over 7 days, correct?
Yeah, tomorrow will be the 7th day.
And then, because it's 2 weeks away, the next meeting. Now, do I have to put it back in the paper for another $175 or no?
No, for.
It's already on the agenda.
Yeah,
No?
yeah, you're.
No, I just gotta let them know.
Yeah, you would already be on the agenda, so you're all, so
Oh,
once
okay.
tomorrow passes,
I just wanna,
you're done with the
seem like
butter notification.
missing a day late every time. When you email me, it's like,
Yeah.
Okay. All right, let me talk to her, but yeah, okay. By that, I'll let you know, but 2 weeks from tonight, correct?
Yes. All right, so this is a public hearing. I'll give anybody a chance to make a comment. Not seeing anybody, I will take a motion to continue this request for determination of applicability to the next meeting.
I'll make that motion.
Could I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Thank you very much.
All right, that's a wetland consultant I gotta look for. Is that
Yes.
what you said? Okay. Sounds good. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. All right. Next up is item K, public hearing, notice of intent Civil Design Consultants, Inc., Andover, Massachusetts, on behalf of Treehouse Brewing Company, Charlton, Massachusetts, 1879 Main Street, Assessors Map 84, Lot 18. DP file number is 305-1185. Did I get that correct?
I think so, but I'll double check.
Thank you.
You have to recuse yourself. Thank you. Or quick finish. Could you please introduce yourself for the record?
Hi, good evening. I'm Mira Cousins with Civil Design Consultants. I'm here on behalf of the applicant Treehouse Brewing Company for a proposed overflow parking lot located at 1879 Main Street. So I'll walk through the existing conditions and then I'll go through what we're proposing. So the total lot area is approximately 2.36 acres. The site is currently vacant. It was the former home of the Funland Mini Golf Park, which closed about 16 years ago. It currently contains 3 building structures with a dilapidated mini golf course, a racetrack at the rear of the site, batting cages, and associated parking spaces. So as far as resource areas, we have a handful of resource areas on the site. So we have Heath Brook, which is located on the south side of the property, which is a perennial stream. We have the bank associated with Heath Brook, which is shown on the plans as Wetland Flag Series B. We have the 200-foot riverfront area. We have bordering vegetated wetlands depicted on the plans as Wetland Flag Series A. We have the associated 25-foot no disturb zone, 50-foot no build zone, and the 100-foot buffer zone. So lastly, about 2/3 of the site is located within the 100-year floodplain with an elevation of 87.4. The BVW and bank were delineated by Norse Environmental in April of this year. So elevations on the site range from a high of approximately 93 feet at the northwest corner of the lot to a low of approximately 82 feet at the wetlands along the southern side of the property. Currently, there are no stormwater management controls on the site. Runoff flows overland in a southerly direction and discharges into Heath Brook without any treatment. So what we're proposing is to redevelop the vacant lot into an overflow parking lot for Treehouse Brewing, where their main building is located across the street at 1880 Main Street. The parking lot will provide 143 parking spaces and is intended to supplement the existing 221 spaces at the 1880 Main Street site during periods of peak demand for the brewery and golf course. To address stormwater, we are proposing runoff from the entire parking lot to discharge into an infiltration basin, which is sized to store the water quality volume. We are proposing a reduction of approximately 17,000 square feet of impervious area. Therefore, the project is classified as a redevelopment project and needs to meet the stormwater standards to the maximum extent practicable. Because of the dramatic decrease of on-site impervious area and the proposed infiltration basin, we practically have a 100% decrease in peak flows from all storm events up to the 100-year storm event leaving the site. The proposed parking lot will be approximately 91 feet away from the closest wetland flag, 13A. Currently, the racetrack at the rear of the site is about 1.6 feet from the closest wetland flag, that's 8-A. And you can probably see that better on that graphic that I just passed around. So we provided a table in our NOI report showing the existing and proposed impervious area quantities located in the buffer zones and the resource areas. So I just want to quickly run through those numbers with you. So between the 0 and 25-foot no disturb zone, currently there's 3,850 square feet of impervious area. We're proposing 0 square feet within the 0 to 25-foot no disturb zone. So that's a 100% decrease. Within 25 to the 50-foot no build zone, currently there's 4,075 square feet of impervious area. We're proposing 0, again, 100% decrease. Between the 50-foot and 100-foot wetland buffer zone, currently there's 9,200 square feet of impervious area. We are proposing 200 square feet, so that's a 98% reduction. Between the 0 and 100-foot riverfront area, there's currently 16,350 square feet of impervious area. We're proposing 0, again, a 100% decrease. Between the 100 and 200-foot riverfront area, there's currently 19,730 square feet. We're proposing 13,300 square feet. That's a 33% decrease of impervious area. So I just want to reiterate that we're removing all impervious area within 100 feet of the riverfront area, which is a huge improvement. Work within the floodplain includes the removal of the existing impervious area, regrading to balance the floodplain storage volume, and a portion of the proposed parking lot. Currently, there's approximately 55,000 square feet of impervious area within the 100-year floodplain. In post-development, the total impervious area within the floodplain will be approximately 35,000 square feet, which is a 36% decrease compared to existing conditions. We submitted a floodplain storage volume calculation that was included in the drainage report. We analyzed the existing flood storage volume at each 1-foot increment from elevation 82, which is more or less the elevation of the wetlands, up to elevation 87.4, which is the 100-year floodplain elevation, and made sure in post-development conditions we either matched that or exceeded the existing storage volume at the same 1-foot increment. We are providing an increase of 7,478 cubic feet of total storage volume in post-development conditions. Other improvements we're planning on doing is restoring the 25-foot no-disturb zone buffer with native tree plantings and New England Conservation Wildlife seed mix with the goal of letting that area return to its natural vegetation. Additionally, we're proposing to install markers along the 25-foot no-disturb zone to avoid future intrusion or alteration to the no-disturb zone. We do have to go through site plan review with the planning board. We have our first meeting on Monday, the 12th. We received a comment letter from DPW earlier today. The majority of the comments are pretty minor, but we'll work with DPW to address those comments. So our goal today is to introduce the project, get everyone's feedback, and then continue to the next meeting so that we can address all the town comments and make the necessary revisions to the plans. So with that, happy to take any questions.
Where are you gonna put the snow?
So we show snow storage area on sheet C3. So it's along the perimeter of the parking.
C3?
Yep. So to the east and west of the edge of the pavement. It's hatched and it's called out, and I provided the snow storage area.
Got it.
Within the infiltration basin, what's the riprap that's just kind of going across that's not kind of noted at all?
Yep, so if you look at sheet C4.
Yep.
That's the sediment forebay. So it's the berm of the sediment forebay.
So is the sediment forebay that whole entire area, or just that riprap area that's depicted? Because that
So
one's not
everything,
colored.
if you look at that riprap, everything
Yep.
to the right of it
Okay,
is the sediment forebay.
okay. And then at what point is it going to go over the 10-foot wide overflow? Because I saw the infiltration basin's only a foot deep, so I'm just curious, at what point could it impact the wetlands?
So at elevation 85,
Yep.
yeah.
So is that a 100-year storm, or?
Yeah, so off the top of my head, I don't have the drainage report with me
Okay.
right now, but it should be listed in the drainage report.
And then all the sheet flow is just naturally going down, there's no catch basins to convey anything to this
Correct.
infiltration? It's just bermed around everywhere except for that area?
Correct,
Okay.
yes.
Any other questions or comments from the commission? Joe, do you have any questions or comments?
Yeah. So the DEP file number is correct, 305-1185. So I sent comments to the applicant, specifically providing compliance with 310 CMR 10.585, which is redevelopment within riverfront area. The applicant cited 310 CMR 10.584, which is sort of for like new projects within undeveloped riverfront areas, but nonetheless, I anticipate them to meet the compliance because it's, you know, this entire site is basically an impervious surface, so any improvement or like major conversion from impervious surface to, you know, back to vegetated surface is an improvement. But nonetheless, that compliance information would still need to be provided. In addition, so per 310 CMR 10.57483, when you work within bordering land subject to flooding, if the proposed work is greater than 5,000 square feet, it triggers a wildlife habitat evaluation to be conducted. Hold on. So so that language is relative to whether the commission finds this area significant to the protection of wildlife habitat. So if the commission finds that this area is significant to the protection of wildlife habitat, then that wildlife habitat evaluation would be required. Otherwise, the commission would just have to determine that it's not significant to the protection of wildlife habitat in order for that to not be required.
Joe, can I provide some clarity on that?
Sure.
So I did see that comment. If you go to section 10.571A3, it describes what they consider significant to the protection of wildlife habitat. There's an exception for those portions of which have been so extensively altered by human activity that their important wildlife habitats functions have been effectively eliminated. And the word altered includes paved, graveled areas, golf courses, cemeteries, playgrounds, landfills. They just list a bunch of what they term as altered. I see this as completely altered, so I don't see it as a significance to wildlife protection. But if you think otherwise.
So, yeah, I think that's an argument for, why any previously paved area wouldn't be an ideal spot for wildlife habitat. So,
Well, we're removing all the impervious except for what you're going to reinstall, correct?
Correct.
So we're going to the good here.
Exactly, it's all like restoration.
Yeah,
within 100
so, I mean, I
feet.
can't see wildlife sitting on the concrete pads for the go-karts and the batting cages, or the big slide, sorry.
There was a dinosaur.
There was a big slide there once, too, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
so my other comments, though, were that the commission may require the installation of conservation signs as indicated on the plan. So there are conservation signs that go what seem to be along the 25-foot no disturb zone, I believe.
Yeah, it
Yes.
looks like around there.
Yeah.
50 foot off center.
And so my question for you would be, what is, so there's all, the plans indicate some restoration of the 25-foot no disturb zone, so planting of some conservation wildlife seed mix in addition to some trees. So what is proposed between the 25-foot no disturb zone to like the stormwater basin, for example?
Loam and seed.
Let's see, okay. So obviously it'd be ideal to restore more of that, but it's up to the commission. That is it.
You don't have any no snow storage signs proposed for?
We didn't show it on the plan. You mean at the infiltration basin?
Yeah, I guess the back of the property. You have snow storage. Will those be marked with signs saying this is where the snow storage is, and then other places saying don't, push snow over here?
Right now, I don't show that, but if that's something the commission wants us to do.
I would prefer,
Okay.
that.
So I guess so if that area were to remain as loam and seed between 25 feet and the stormwater basin, does it matter whether that's like, for example, if like half of that is an extension of the conservation wildlife seed mix, if it's just going to be, like, does that matter, or is that intended for something?
I did see your comment on that. I would just have to talk to the client, just
Okay.
talk with them to see if that's
Okay.
an issue. Yeah.
And then, as the applicant indicated, we're just waiting on engineering's review of for stormwater compliance.
Any other comments or questions from the commission?
I'm good.
This is a public hearing. I will not be closing this public hearing just yet because we will be continuing this notice of intent. But now is the time to get up if you have any comments you would like to make. Could you please introduce yourself for the
Hi,
record?
Ken Muse. I have a question on the snow storage area. Is there any way to keep that from is that going to drain into the parking lot? Because that's the grassy area, it's gonna, what's keeping it on their property? Because if they push, how many square feet a parking lot is, they're trying to put it in 1/6 the area. What is gonna keep that on their property from going off into the driveway from 1991?
Would you like to answer that?
I mean, is there a fence there? I don't know if you know that.
Yeah, that's what I was looking at here.
Because you have a sidewalk and then there's grassy area. Right now, there's only 8 feet there now between the existing fence property line and the existing parking lot.
So we have sidewalk
And if we
there.
get if we get one of those 100-inch winters, there's just not going to be enough snow storage. There never is, everybody.
So we have about 15 feet from the sidewalk to the property line for the snow storage.
15 feet.
Okay, so that parking lot's getting narrowed, basically? Okay, all right. I just wanted to know where that water was going to drain. If it's, if there's a fence there, then it won't spill over into the other property. Okay.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments? All right, so we'll continue this until the next meeting and give you time to answer all other town questions and stuff. So if that's the case, could I have a motion to continue this notice of intent for Civil Design Consultants, Inc., Andover, Massachusetts, on behalf of Treehouse Brewing Company, Charlton, Massachusetts, 1879 Main Street, Assessors Map 84, Lot 18, DEP file number 305-1185, to the next meeting?
I'll make that motion.
Could I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next item, L, public hearing, notice of intent, Civil Design Consultants, Inc., Andover, Massachusetts, on behalf of Philip Frenzy of Andover North Estates LLC, Lynn, Massachusetts, 1563 Andover Street, Assessors Map 39, Lot 45, formerly 1037 North Street and 1547, 1553, 1563 Andover Street, Assessors Map 39, Lots 45 and 58, DP file number 305-1184. Am I correct on that?
Yes.
Could you please introduce yourself again for the record?
Mira Cousins with Civil Design Consultants. So I was here last month on May 10th to extend the order of conditions for this project on behalf of Andover North Estates LLC. Since the applicant did not file the permit extension request 30 days prior to the expiration date of the permit, this commission denied the request. So we had to refile the NOI. No changes have been made to the plans. Again, this was approved by the commission back in 2020. It had gone through extensive departmental review at the time of the original approval. So essentially, this is just a paperwork exercise. And that's all I got.
Any questions or comments from the commission?
This was already approved?
This is the one that they weren't able to update or get the extension in time. So it's the same exact project as
Yes.
before, just under a new DEP file number.
Got it.
Joe, do you have any questions or comments?
My only comments would be that if the commission were to issue an order of conditions, I would just, the conditions for the order would basically just be the same as what was done previously, and just to note that, like, within the order, what has transpired over the last month or so, just kind of, so that anyone looking at it kind of gets an idea that this is more or less an administrative process to make sure that the project can still continue under an active permit.
All right. Give a second for the commission if there's any other questions. Not seeing anybody. This is a public hearing. If there's anybody from the public who would like to get up and make a comment, now's the time to do so. But not seeing anybody. Could I have a motion? Yeah, we're not waiting. Are we?
No.
Yeah, all right. Could I have a motion to close the public hearing?
I'll make that motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. And could I have a motion to approve the notice of intent for DEP file number 305-1184 as discussed at this meeting?
I'll make that motion.
Could I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Agenda item M, public hearing, notice of intent Merrimack Engineering Services, Andover, Massachusetts, on behalf of Lisa and Kenneth Hills, 6 Nealand Road, Assessors Map 95, Lot 49, DP file number 305-1180. Could you please introduce yourself for the record?
Hello, I'm Ken Hills, 6 Nealand Road, Tewkesbury.
All right.
I just want to make sure that you have the updated planting plan. I'd sent a new one just this morning.
Yeah, if you could pass that around, that'd be great. Thank you.
Thank you.
That's it.
We can share.
I can share. I can share.
Thank you, sir.
So we submitted an updated drawing to show the additional proposed 395 additional no-build zone on the left side of the property. Also showing the enhanced or proposed enhanced planting buffer zone, total area of 794 square feet, which is a little over the 2-for-1 that we discussed before. You'll see that it extends all the way across the back fence line there and a little bit forward towards the proposed construction area and the existing piece of property there. We consulted with Norse Engineering, Norse Environmental, on the planting that we're proposing there. Joe, as you know from the site visit, there's mature trees just on the other side of the boundary fence there, which actually overhang that area that's proposed as the planting. So we're not proposing planting any new trees in the area, but we will be planting shrubs, native shrubs and native herbaceous plants all along that borderline there. And then some native seed mix will be applied to the shaded areas on the planting plan there.
The native seed mix, so that's only on the shaded side. The other side where it's not shaded, is that just existing lawn right now?
No, so that's just, at the moment, it's just a plain empty area, natural area.
Any questions or comments from the commission? Joe, did you have any questions or comments?
Are you also proposing, so based off the updated site plan, are you also proposing to expand the no-build zone line? Like I see there's a little, it says proposed 395 square foot no-build zone. I'm not sure if that was like a proposal to, because you're encroaching, like now this plan will be referenced going forward for like, you're basically expanding the no-build zone even beyond where it's supposed to be because of the encroachment. It's on the left-hand side of the house.
Yes. Yes, so the no-build zone line will come out
Okay.
basically to align with the front of the house, which is the limit of our planning
Okay,
bylaw zone.
okay. So, based off the commission's conversation of this project last, the applicant has kind of done what was discussed as far as proposing a mitigation area that's twice as large as the encroachment into the no-build zone. That's kind of the direction of the conversation from last time.
Exactly.
I think it's a pretty good mitigation plan. So I think it's just about ensuring that the mitigation plan is done, and incorporating that into the order. So for example, so when there's mitigation, you know, sometimes we've had the initial plantings and the seeding in the mitigation area be done prior to the issuance of a building permit. So would that be something that the commission would want to see? So I guess so if the commission were to issue a order of conditions for the project, some recommended conditions would be standard conditions number 1 through number 4 and number 9 through number 19. The sediment control shown on the plans are to be 12 inches in diameter, so it's a bigger silt sock. Number 3, you know, subject to the commission's judgment, that the initial plantings and the seeding in the mitigation area be established prior to the issuance of a building permit, where the establishment would be defined as, you know, just planting the shrubs that you're proposing and planting the seed mix that you're proposing. And then once I verify that through a site visit, then I can sign off on the building permit. Having the species and the number of shrubs and trees planted shall be documented, in addition to the types of the seed mixes applied. The mitigation area shall remain as unaltered land, not to be converted into lawn. This condition shall apply in perpetuity, so that mitigation area is not meant to be, you know, mowed in the future. And lastly, at the time of a request for a certificate of compliance, so when you want to close out the project, when it's filed for the project, the mitigation area shall be evaluated to determine compliance with this order. Additional planting / seeding may be necessary if the commission finds that the mitigation area was not designed per the order. So it's basically a last check just to verify that the mitigation area was not only installed, but it was, you know, maintained over time as it should be.
Are you comfortable with all of that?
Well, we had planned on proceeding with the building permit at the earliest opportunity. So, I mean, we will undertake the planting plan and everything, and we're planning to have that installed prior to the end of the building, as in line with the building timeline. So just from a scheduling point of view, we would prefer to be able to get started on the project at the earliest opportunity.
Joe, could we put in like a date that it has to be done by August 1st, and if not done, we can stop the project, or no? Or we don't have the authority once you sign off?
We can, or the commission can do that if they want. It's just normally the incentive is to have the building permit in hand.
Yeah.
But
I understand its construction season's already started, and this has gone on for a
Yeah,
month
it's
plus
good
at this
planting
point.
season though, right now, too.
It's actually at the end of the planting season. The Norse Environmental advised that it's spring and fall is the best time
Exactly,
to plant.
and we're extended spring right now. Well, this is a tough one.
So, yeah, I don't,
Do you have a contractor lined up? Is this?
Yes.
And they're ready to dig into the ground?
Insane. I'm just thinking to kind of give this leeway because the applicant's been so willing to work with us through
I
this
mean, it was
process,
exactly
so-
what we asked.
Correct,
I mean,
so.
this is textbook.
That's why I'm willing to kind of give that little bit of leeway and set by the end of this fall period, and then if not, then
Yeah,
we'll
I'm
issue
with
a
that one.
violation notice. and-
Showed nothing but good faith. We said 2 for 1, you came back with 2 for 1. I mean,
okay, so that's fine, that was just that's kind of just typically
Correct.
like the first
Yes.
suggestion. So what would be the timeframe?
I would say by November 30th.
Maybe early, wouldn't,
Well,
I would say early.
By,
Yeah.
you know, I don't want to back them into a corner either, because you know how construction ends up. What do you think? End of October?
Yeah, I was thinking end of October.
Okay.
Just to kind of
What
make
do you-
sure it happens earlier in the
You like that,
process.
Dan?
Are you comfortable with end of October to do that?
Okay. By committee, Halloween, right?
Yeah, our pumpkins native. All right, so if, yeah, I think that's a good solution. You can, you know, proceed as quickly as you can, but please do get the plantings done by October, the end of October.
My last thing is, does the commission want to incorporate the site plan for like the new build zone going forward? Is it worth putting that into the order?
Pretty much if there's ever a future project, the wetlands have to be redelineated.
Well, if there's ever a future project, that plan would be referenced because they're kind of artificially creating more no-build
Yeah.
zone and compliance. So,
Well, how do we make it follow the deed?
But wouldn't that come up if there's a future project that come up? Or are you saying just to note the fact that it exists to make sure there's new wetland delineations and future RDAs or NOIs that come forward?
well, this is why I'm like
Are
doing
you saying
that.
none of the as-built depict the new wetland
It's for
boundary?
future projects would reference that as part of a no-build zone.
Yes.
But 10 years from now, it's kind of hard to find that.
Well, that's why I say, how do we make it follow the deed or the
Yeah.
plot plan?
That's
you
what I'm
know?
like, if you put on the as-built, won't the as-built be the record that will go along with that property?
We
One of
wouldn't-
them, for sure.
We wouldn't get it until the certificate of compliance, but
Yeah.
any new construction would have to close the old outlets.
Okay, so yes to having that follow for future projects?
The as-built will depict the new wetland boundaries.
The new no-build
New
zone.
no-build zone, right,
Yeah,
right.
all right. So the as-built will depict the new no-build zone for future projects going forward.
Correct.
So when you come back for certificate of compliance, that's when the plot plan and everything will have to show the no-build, no-build zones.
The increased one, right? Yeah.
All right. All right, so this is a public hearing. If there's anybody from the public who would like to make a comment, now's the time to do so. Not seeing anybody make a comment or get up. Could I have a motion to close the public hearing?
I'll make that motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. And could I have a motion to issue the notice of intent, to approve the notice of intent for Merrimack Engineering Services, Andover, Massachusetts, on behalf of Lisa and Kenneth Hill, 6 Nealand Road, Assessors Map 95, Lot 49, DP file number 305-1180, as discussed at this meeting?
I'll make that motion.
Could I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well.
Thank you very
for-
much.
yeah,
Thank you.
for coming back and working with us. We really
Can I
appreciate it.
ask what the next steps are? Like,
Joe?
Yeah,
So the next steps are, within 3 business days, the order of conditions, which is essentially the conservation permit, that'll be issued. There's a 10-day appeal period following the date of issuance. So that's meant for any neighbors or Mass DEP that don't agree with the decision of the commission. So after the 10-day appeal period has passed, you'll conduct a site visit with myself to go over all the pre-construction requirements. So you'll be required prior to construction, the sediment controls, establishing the DEP file sign, so it's a big file sign right in front of your property, and then recording the permit at the registry of deeds. So those 3 things.
okay, thank you very much.
thank you. All right, next item on the agenda is N, public hearing. Notice of intent, VHB Watertown, Massachusetts, on behalf of David DeCenzo of Dan Realty LLC, Wilmington, Massachusetts, 1695 Washington Street, assesses map 113, lot 22, DP file number 305-1183. Is there anybody here for that? Not seeing anybody.
Think you can continue that.
All right, could I have a motion to continue DP file number 305-1183 to the next meeting?
I'll make that motion.
Could I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Agenda item O, public hearing, notice of intent, Goddard Consulting, Northborough, Massachusetts, on behalf of Joe Marie Buckley, 105 Star Avenue, assessors map 100, lot 8, DP file number 305-1179. Is there anybody here for that? Could you please introduce yourself for the record?
J.W. Buckley, 105 Star Ave.
And where do we stand at this point?
You guys, the notice of intent got messed up. I think we were a couple of days before the full 7 days, and the only questions you guys had, or the only info you wanted, was the specific change of the percentage of the whatever going into the no-build zone. And it was roughly 4% to 6%, and I think Andrew sent you guys the exact figure, the exact percentage change. So that's where we're at.
All right. Any questions or comments from the commission?
No, falls under 10%.
Yeah, so the engineer said that the total no-build zone within the area is about 6,142 square feet. So 10% of that is 614 square feet. And so the proposed garage that is encroaching into the no-build zone is only 541 square feet. So it is less than 10%. And though that total no-build zone area matches just like a quick desktop measurement that I did as well. So other than that, considering that it's less than 10%, if the commission were to issue an order of conditions, the following conditions may be considered. Standard conditions number 1 through number 4 and number 9 through number 19. And sediment controls, as shown on the plans, must be 12 inches in diameter. So again, the compost filter tubes proposed, just having them be the larger diameter ones. So that's it.
All right. Any other questions from the commission? This is a public hearing. If there's anybody from the public who would like to make a comment, now is the time to do so. But not seeing anybody get up. Could I have a motion to close the public hearing?
I'll make that motion.
Could I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Could I have a motion to approve the notice of intent, DP file number 305-1179, as discussed at this meeting?
I'll make that motion.
Could I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Thank you very much.
Thanks, boys.
All right.
Just run down them.
What's that?
Just run down them.
Did we skip one?
Yeah,
We skipped like L or? what
we
was
skipped
it? Not L.
Earlier there for the-
F or G,
I think we skipped I.
I. Are you here for Erlen?
No.
No?
We're here for the discussion on 19 Pond Street.
Oh, all right, all right. All right, we're gonna get through a few of these.
He can't really hear you guys, so it's okay if we move up?
Oh, yeah. We're just gonna go through a couple of these. All right. Could I have a motion to continue notice of intent Goddard Consulting LLC, Northborough, I'm sorry. Could I have a motion to continue notice of intent Bales Associates, DP file number 305-1181 to the next meeting?
I'll make that motion.
Could I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Could I have a motion to continue notice of intent Bales Associates, Inc., DP file number 305-1182 to the next meeting?
I'll make that motion.
Could I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Agenda item R, abatement request, 17 Starbird Avenue, Assessors Map 58, Lot 151. Joe, could you fill us in on the details of this one?
Yeah, so 17 Starbird Ave was deeded to the Conservation Commission as part of a subdivision plan. Because it was deeded to us, there's like some tax bill associated with it, and so per some regulation that the Assessors Department is more familiar with, if the commission requests for, I think fiscal year 2023 is all that's required. If they request to abate that tax, then it doesn't apply, to my understanding. Not fully sure how the regulations work, but that is what is requested of the commission.
The assessor's office hasn't said anything about us having to do this every year. It's
Yeah, I think it's just a
one-time.
one-time thing for fiscal year 2023.
All right. Any other questions or comments?
No?
So in that case, could I have a motion to approve the abatement request for 17 Starbird Avenue, Assessors Map 58, Lot 151?
I'll make that motion.
Could I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. All right. Agenda item S, discussion exemption or violation, 19 Pond Street, Assessors Map 31, Lot 8.
So, sorry, yeah, if I could I just want to share my
Yeah.
comments here. So, this is regarding 19 Pond Street, but is also a larger conversation. So the homeowner had applied about 2 to 3 inches of soil to their yard. So that was evidenced by, I just did a soil auger through like 2 spots in their yard just to see where I could hit natural vegetation. So it appeared about 2 to 3 inches of soil. I previously had been out there for a permit that was previously discussed with the commission, so I'm generally familiar with the extent of the yard. So based off of my previous experience of being out there and what I saw, it doesn't seem that, or it seems that loom was placed onto previously existing lawn, about 2 to 3 inches worth. Once I saw the loom, I had a conversation with the homeowner to at least just establish some sediment controls around the perimeter, just because the property's right along the pond. And so those sediment controls were subsequently established. So my question for the commission is, there is an an exemption within the regulations, both at a state and local level, for the planting of ground cover. So I guess I just wanted to see what the commission's interpretation of planting of ground cover is as an exempt activity, and just to get their opinion on, how this should be handled now and in the future.
Could I just add one thing?
I just ask that if you go up to the podium and introduce yourself.
It is also a public hearing. It's a public meeting, but
Sorry.
it's at your discretion.
I'm Steve Bolduc. I'm at 9 Pond Street, which is directly next door to 19. which she didn't just put loom, they put a lot of stone first. So I know the yard was very mushy, and there was some lawn there, but it was really kind of wet and mushy underfoot, so she filled it with stone first, then put loom over on top of it. So what happened in my yard is the shared puddle, it's always back there, it's going to be shifting towards my yard. So it isn't a problem right now. My concern is any kind of heavy rain or heavy season that we get, I'm worried what's going to happen, because there's always been a puddle that goes up and down in my backyard. I accept it. But she basically stopped it on her side, and now it's going to be, you know, much more of a problem for me. I can't see it not affecting me in some way. That's what I have a problem with. So I don't know how you evaluate future problems, but I did go over and talk to her when she was doing it, and she just went, I don't know what to tell you. So that's why I'm here.
All right, well, thank you very much for bringing that to our attention. We don't have, I guess, we don't have proof of any of that, unfortunately. I mean, in front of us right now, like, I'm not saying that it's not true, I'm just saying we don't have any photographic proof that there is stone right there. I'm not sure.
I'll just say that for the augers that I did, I saw dirt.
I was gonna say, in the pictures with augers, not that it's a
Yeah.
ton of stone, but there's a lot of rock in those pictures.
Yeah. So, yeah, I didn't see like.
Crushed stone before they moved it. I watched it. It was a Sunday morning.
So,
Joe, how's the exemption read exactly?
Let me pull it up. So this is from 310 CMR 10. So this is just listed as, you know, one of the minor activities occurring within the buffer zone or riverfront area. It says plantings of native species of trees, shrubs, or ground cover, but excluding turf lawns.
So just planting though, not changing the grade, right?
Right, I was gonna say, planting is one thing, but
Correct.
bringing in
Like,
loam,
if you just put grass seed on, but like,
Right.
you're changing, especially around a lake or
Yeah.
anywhere that could cause flooding anywhere else. I think it's regrading is different activity than.
oh, there's,
No question. That was the whole purpose of it.
I mean, I don't think it's exempt.
I don't either.
I think bringing in loam and stone allegedly is a deliberate act.
Hence the amount of loam too. If it was just kind of like a clear cover just to get grass growing on it, that's one thing, but
Okay.
I mean, that's just from your auger picture, that's a significant amount of loam that was, at least in that one spot.
Right, I mean,
That you
this,
showed there.
this was trucks.
Okay. So,
sir, if you continue to make comments, I ask that you go up. I'm sorry.
so it's, all right, so at this point, if the commission thinks that it's not an exempt activity, it's either, you know, are we making her file an RDA, or is this like you need to remove that soil.
I mean,
The,
the way I'm looking at it is, I don't know how you guys think, I mean, this is a violation. And knowing you're on waterfront, which is pretty obvious. Is this the one we did the trees for?
No, this was a deck. Like,
Oh, okay.
oh,
I mean, they know there's conditions that come with living on the water.
I agree with Steve.
Yeah, I'm not trying to be harsh, but, you know, this is why we're here.
no, yeah, and there's a lot of people who, they don't realize how close they are to the wetlands, but you can't be much closer to this.
No, it's winking at you, right?
Yeah.
It's probably the reason they bought there.
If it was only, I guess, what's the minimum amount of loam you think you could bring in?
So that's what I would want to know going forward, as far as like, because when these exemptions, like planting native trees, shrubs, ground cover, like planting the actual, so is the commission saying like you can do that, but no like loom at all, just simply like just the planting of the trees?
Correct, yeah, it shouldn't be significant regrading.
Okay.
I mean, if you have this little divot that you want to just like level out.
Right, you
that's
get a
one
yard
thing,
of
but-
loam and you take it an afternoon with a wheelbarrow, you know, spot thing, no issues.
Yeah.
But you bring in equipment,
Yeah.
and, you know, and aggregate, you know, you got stone under there allegedly. It's,
And this, the equipment is also a concern, depending on what type of equipment it is, what's happening underneath and as close as you get it and stuff.
No, that's a fair interpretation. I just want to get your guys'.
yeah, I think we're all on the same page, aren't we?
You said native, what was it, native species?
Yeah, plantings of native species of trees, shrubs, or ground cover, but excluding turf lawns, and our bylaw has similar language.
Excluding turf lawns.
Turf lawns.
Which is straight up grass.
Yeah.
And that
So-
was the intention of this, correct? Is, I
Yeah,
can't
to
imagine,
establish grass.
I can't imagine she threw dirt down there and is stepping on it without establishing a lawn.
Yeah, that's, the intent is to put, 2 to 3 inches of loom down and reseed it with grass.
Right.
Okay, so that's fair enough. So I can issue a violation notice. I'll just have her come to the next meeting to have the discussion as far as next steps.
Yep.
If you would like to make another comment, yeah.
You guys covered it very well. The way I see it is she brought in a lot of material, and it was alarming. As a neighbor, I normally wouldn't get involved with what my neighbor's doing, but I think it's going to directly affect the wetlands behind my house and behind her house in her favor. I feel like we share the problem, and she was basically just trying to, fill it in, and I didn't think it was right, so,
Well, we're gonna,
fair enough.
So, yeah,
I appreciate it.
So does it just want to be a violation notice and just notifying her that this is a violation and attending the next meeting to have the discussion?
yes, I think so,
Yeah.
yeah, let's,
Because, yeah, I don't even want to, it's,
I don't want to make a decision without her
Yeah, exactly.
hearing.
Right.
yeah,
other
I don't
side
want
of
to
the
talk
story.
about RDAs or anything like that.
Okay,
Um,
sounds good.
Could I ask you what the next meeting is?
In 2 weeks,
2 weeks.
21st.
it's the 21st.
Thank you.
All right, moving on to
most welcome.
discuss changes to wetland protection bylaw regulations. Has anybody had any time to review or comments? Any hearing from residents about their thoughts or anything like that? Doesn't sound like it.
I think I got just as many calls about it as you.
So I just wanted to reiterate that, yes, we're proposing to change the Tewksbury Wetland Protection Bylaw and its regulations. Most of it is staying. The intent is to keep the 25-foot no disturb zone, keep the 50-foot no build zone. Changes to the no build zone as far as like what is allowed for alteration. I think doing what we did there for like 10% encroachment still, so that's still a threshold, and that the commission may allow further mitigation if there is encroachment over the 10%. So saying it as a may so that it's totally discretionary. And then just keeping the notices and hearings consistent with the WPA as far as, RDAs wouldn't be a public hearing, they'd be a public meeting. That would just kind of like streamline some of these things.
Yeah, we don't get very much
Yeah.
public comment from RDAs. They're pretty straightforward, so.
It'd be easier for the public as well, just not to do the abutter notifications.
Yeah, oh yeah, that's a very
Yeah.
good point.
Same exemptions, or pretty much the same exemptions as the WPA. And yeah. That's about it. I think we still skipped over I.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. All right, I have a feeling that they're not going to show up. So could I have a motion to continue the request for a determination of applicability for Tracy Morrow, 7 Erling Terrace, Assessors Map 47, Lot 34, to the next meeting?
I'll make the motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Any old business, new business, or admin's reports?
Old business, meeting minutes and person for another member for Concom.
So
Any updates?
no updates on the Concom, but meeting minutes are being taken care of.
He says
So,
that.
This
He's-
week or next week?
Right, he says, he says that with a smirk. Well, on the record.
It sounds like we have a solution in place, even if it hasn't been implemented.
So there will be minutes ready for the next meeting where a solution has been made for 2022 minutes.
You're gonna have to read 3 years' worth of minutes by next week. All right, but that's good news. As far as you know, there was the initial call out for, new members of boards and stuff, but we haven't done any additional, notifications, of course ourselves, but any idea if anything else has gone out?
No, but I don't know, have you guys been around for, doing advertising for Concom member?
I emailed one person, but that's the extent of it. Can we use wetland protection funds for a full page ad?
Is that more worthwhile than just posting on like MMA or something like that?
Yeah, I think MMA might be good.
I say we put it on the beer truck
Yeah.
down at the, at the food thing.
I think MMA is pretty cheap. I think it's like $100.
Is it?
Post there.
Does the town already have an account?
Probably.
Yeah, I'd imagine so.
I don't know. I don't know if that's overboard and how, MMA
I've
is
seen it.
great. You're in the
Oh.
municipal sphere of operations. I don't know how many other Tewksbury residents check that website on a consistent basis. That's the only thing I'm worried about, but,
I check it.
yeah.
Well, I can post it to our website. I can just post that link in our website,
All right,
so that might help.
yeah.
You could have the town, they have social media too, just put a blurb
Yeah.
out.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the Tewksbury DPW Instagram account is quite active. Maybe we
Or at the farmer's market, we can put up a
can,
sign.
oh yeah, that's
That's
happening.
what I said.
fairly soon.
That's what I was getting at.
don't know
The farmer's
anything.
market, we gotta get a beer.
The farmers, as much as I would like that, I don't know who to
I
ask.
think you're missing my point here. We need a beer wagon for the Concom ad, right?
Just for the con.
Just saying.
All right, if that's the case, no other discussions happening, could I have a motion to adjourn?
Did we continue that?
Continue what?
Erlen?
Yeah.
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 Yes.
We did?
Yep. I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Now, even if we didn't.